thank you for your disponibility today and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year as well.
I hope 2021 will be a better year for us and even a better year globally, and that will finally find a way to overcome COVID-19 and the global pandemic stuffs.
Yes, sure.
Or find a way to live with it. So it's gonna be a very nice conversation between two members of the Jacques Rougerie Foundation. A discussion between to know more about you, to know more about your work, and to just share a little bit of our passions together. So thanks once again for your disponibility, for your availability. So can you just tell me where you're from, your age, and your background?
Yes, sure. Hi, everyone. I'm 25 and I'm living in Yaroslav. It's a city in European part of Russia. And recently, a few months ago, I just got a master's degree here in local architectural school in Technical State University. And as well, I got a bachelor degree here. So in total, it's about 7 years of studying, and I think for the last 2 years I'm working here in architectural studio, which is about the modern architecture as well, and sometimes I'm doing some renderings on freelance. So I think that's it about me.
Yes,
shortly.
You are at the beginning of your career, so the main thing is to know how was the school environment.
I think the best thing about my education was learning how to create, the concept of a project, the methodology of creating a creative product here. And I think the best thing as well here in my architecture school is making friends with people who have the same vision as yours. I think these two things are the greatest about my educational background here.
Yes, any privileged moment, any time you can recall, any event that will never be removed from your mind?
Yes,
school?
Yes.
Can we know about?
So please tell me, I think you should repeat.
Can you tell us about a privilege or sad moment during the academics?
What do you mean? What is a privilege? I don't understand.
Something that you will recall all of your life, for instance. Maybe your project presentation, maybe the workshops, maybe a teacher in particular, something that will never go out from your mind whenever they say school.
Yes, in the school I think the bestest projects were the competitions where I took part. So we had some local workshops as well, so we had many staff, and also we had many sleepless nights here in the school. So I think I will never forget this experience. Yes, and I think as well the work experience has the same privilege for me. So I think that's it.
Yeah. Okay. So how is the architectural competition thing in your country? Is it popular in your country or in your school? Is it popular?
Yeah. Yes, I think they are popular as maybe like in European countries. So here we have a lot of, local competitions for students as well for the professionals. They are more realistic, like about housing, landscape design, like urban design. But as well, we have here the digest of popular international competitions. So they are popular here too, and but I think the popularity of students' competitions depends on architecture school. As for us, yes, we sometimes we do them in our school, and the most popular competition here in my school where I studied is Jacques Rougerie, you know.
Oh,
So
amazing.
yes, yes, and every year I think one or two teams of students take part here in Jacques Rougerie. So for us, it's like a tradition, and yes, so.
So, was it the first time you was participating, or you did participate many other times since it's a like culture in the school?
Uh, I in Jacques Rougerie, it is not my first experience. I did the project in a team like maybe 3 years ago, but the first, it is the first experience for me to make it by myself, all alone. And before that, I took part in Fentress Global Challenge, so it was maybe like two big projects, which were the last one I did. So yes, it's not my first think experience, but it is very important for me.
Okay, that's great. So, you did not abandon after maybe wasn't after the first project where you guys were not recognized. So you keep on and you come some years later with another project. So, what are the criteria for you to participate in an architectural competition? Is it the price, the amount of deliverable, or what?
Oh, I actually don't participate too often in competitions, so I try to choose the biggest one, the well-known competitions, and at the same time, I like to participate in contests with speculative or futuristic tags, because you don't have any limits here. So I think you can create something crazy or something, even weird, and it is a good way to train your architectural imagination. So that's it. Yes.
Great. So,
There are my
you run about kind of the project in which you are going to cross boundaries of imagination and be able to propose new typologies of sceneries, but always problem based. That's great. Um, so, do you have any specific methodology to elaborate your proposals?
I think that in competition proposals it is very needed to have a very strong concept base. So I think at first I think I always try to create a very, very deep research about the context, about the cultural context, the historical context, and everything that relates to the issue or the contest task. And then I try to create, the big, very clear main idea, which can be at first time very abstract and theoretical, but then it can grow and become more detailed and all. And also I try to make something like the scenario. It can be in sketches or in text. So I try to imagine what user of space will do, what will he see in front of his eyes, where will he go. So it is very helpful for me to make the concept. And always I try to make a clear functional program, a very logical functional program, so there should be nothing unnecessary, everything in the right place.
Right.
Yes, but I think at the same time you can create like a drama of space, so which can be very emotional at the same time.
So you are really focused about the fact that there must be nothing unnecessary in the project. So even though it's futuristic sceneries, you make sure that everything grows like a composition master plan, and you kind of take in account how the users of the space will feel in the space and will go along with the space. So what was it exactly that you did, that you proposed for the lunar village?
Oh,
yeah, let's talk a little bit about that amazing project. It's the main reason why that we came to know you, and we wanted to share, to know more about it. So talk about it, please.
Oh, thank you. The first thing I wanted to say about it is that this project is my master thesis. So I did a very big research and even wrote a little book for it. And I had a lot of questions, like the proposal, like the purposes, like the physical conditions. And my goal was to create a very comfortable living space for a community in specific conditions. So after exploring a lot of data, I found a suitable location and the south pole of the moon, and I realized the format of the settlement is something between the hybrid of International Space Station and a little town or a village for about 10,000 or for about 1,000 people. So then I did a very big narrative work which details the different aspects of life here, like economics, laws, and everything. And then I created a scenario of colonization of the moon, which describes step-to-step actions of the creation and construction of the moon village, and every step was illustrated with a little sketch. And then I created a functional zone and allocated everything like maybe spaceport, living, industrial zones, or a centers or a station of the site. And then I did a master plan for each zone, and the biggest one was living, so it took a lot of time for me to make it organic and beautiful, but the main principle was very simple linear structure which grows on the edge of the crater. Yes. And then I just did a 3D model of exterior and the interior. So I did this concept based on scientific data, as well as cultural references, and as well as my everyday experience life and my sci-fi vision, you know.
Of course, when you are building in a new ground, you have to put on a maximum imagination, because you are certainly not working in a known place. So what about the geographical condition of the moon? How did you take it in account? The materials. What are the materials?
Yes. The concept of a construction was very simple. I had a lot of references, so it's like a metal dome which is coated with regolith layer. Regolith is lunar soil, so it is a very vernacular structure. Every materials are in situ, so they are local lunar materials. So I think it's very sustainable and vernacular principle of construction here.
Yes. So what can we learn, or what will you use from that experience, from that lunar project, to apply, for instance, on Earth? Since that you were working in a new ground, it's true you used scientific data and past projects, because you did a lot of research, as you told us. But what can we bring from that lunar project to Earth here?
You know, when you do something in space, it should be very sustainable, and you should have economy of each part of the construction. So there is total water recycle. So you use the briefing of people. You bring it to the gardens, and all the food you also grow in the gardens. So there is nothing unnecessary, and everything goes from one part of life to another part of life. So I think in future our world will be more ecological and sustainable. So I think the principles are actually the same on the moon and on the Earth. So you're creating life, and then this principle, I think, we can bring to Earth.
Yes, and what about the footprints of the buildings? When everything is said and done, after the end of life of your building, will total recyclability be possible?
You mean ability to reuse the constructions of a base?
Maybe not only to reuse, but for it to go back to its, how can it, normality with little to no impact. Like for instance, if you use raw earth in a project, when you are done with the project, you destroy it. If you add no cement, no additive material, we just come back to the earth, and after a certain time it might behave like it was before you use it. So when you use the moon regoliths and the vernacular materials, as you say, on it, will it be possible to have total reversibility?
I actually didn't get the last question. What do you mean?
Yes, you know that reversibility is part of, in a certain sense, is a part of durability. Being able to have totally reversible materials can be an advantage. So, in your design process, did you use reversible materials, or do you just propose materials that can be reused after?
So there is, there is an industrial process, and there is a process of making an oxygen from the regolith. So you always will always have something from the regolith. You can make from it no oxygen, metals, silicon, and there are a lot of materials you can use from the regolith. So it is very helpful stuff. And also there is industry of making starships, which can fly from the moon. The process of flying from the moon is much more easier and cheaper than from the Earth, because there is 6 times less gravity. So you can bring here a very big multi-planetary industry here. So there will be always a way to use materials of moon and to reuse it from the construction.
Because I personally, my main idea is to be sure that we shift from linear economy to a more circular economy, or even from green economy to blue economy, in a sense that we don't even destroy, we don't only transform, but we create an opportunity, like in nature, like in biomimicry, to have a continuous shift from one point to another, and if possible in an organic way. So that's why your project is so amazing, because when we look at it, when you appreciate what the jury did, we see that there's a lot of questions that we can ask from it. There's a lot of development we can make from it, and surely many other ideas you will bring forth in your future with your career along to help us improve the way we see our world and the way architecture works. So once again, congratulations for that proposal, and congratulations to have you among the nominees. So from all competitions or design that you've done, which of them you like the most and why?
Oh, they are the last two which I took part in. The first, it's the project about what we talked right now. It's in the village, and before it, I took part in Fenter's Global Challenge. It is every year a very well-known contest for students. It's about making architecture of airports of future. So I had to choose one of existing airports and rethink it in 2075. So I have chosen a Moscow airport and did a proposal, and I think the result was kind of successful. I was in shortlist, so they are two.
So yes, very. I'm appreciative of the initiative to work for 2075. It's not too far from us today, so we better think about it. So why was it a great challenge for you, especially the airport project?
What? Can you repeat, please?
Yes, what was the main challenges when designing that, or redesigning or rethinking the Domodedovo airport?
Yes. I actually did a very big research about everything that relates, or even about the history of Moscow, about everything, and I tried to find the biggest problem about airport task nowadays, and I found it, and I tried to answer for this issue about the biggest problems of airports with the project about the future. So I tried to find the question, I tried to find the problem, and to answer with the project.
Oh, great. So it was very sci-fi, like always with you.
Yes, yes. Yes, it was.
Yes. When you look at your project, we cannot really remove a main influence. It means that you're starting to have, or you already have, a personal approach, like a personal input. But what are your references in architecture? Do you have any architects that is an inspiration for your work, or any, let's say, theoretical approaches?
Yes, sure. Actually, I have very many references, but I think the main is Zaha Hadid. She's an icon, and I knew about her. She was my first impression in modern architecture.
One and only forever.
Yes, yes, sure. And so on the first years of studying, I liked very much deconstructivist architects like, Libeskind, Wolfbrink, Morphosis, and Peter Eisenman. But right now, I actually cannot say about that I prefer any of stars, but the last years I am very keen on the giants of architecture market, like Mr. Foster, or Bjarkingels, or OMA, and
they used to call me Bjarkingels at school. So
yes, he's like an Elon Musk in architecture. Yes, and I think the last lab that I found is Sid Mead. I don't know if you heard about him. He is a very great sci-fi artist. which created, illustrations for many modern sci-fi film movies like Tron or Blade Runner, or like that, something like that.
Yes,
And so I have
we'll share
many.
the link and we'll put the link on the description.
Yeah, sure, of course. And I think I can say something about the last project that I liked, and it is like a box, and inside this box is very, very complicated space. I think it's Institute for Sound and Vision. I think everyone should see it. It is very cool stuff.
Yeah. You're talking of Nathalie Rage Institute for Sound and Vision.
Yes. About him, we will put the link.
Yeah. So you are moving from loving an architect to another, but yes. Do you have any tips for students or young architects? Like you, for instance, you did the competition at the same time your graduation project with the same project, such as to have much time to input in both. So, and obviously, if you are appreciative of sci-fi kind of rendering or environment, it means that you have developed great skills in designing, or maybe also in BIM. So, do you have any tips for students or young architects like
Stop,
us?
please. Please stop. If there is a problem with the connection, so I think you should restart the last question. So I didn't see anything.
Okay. Are you getting me now?
I'm here and I'm seeing you. So please just. There was a very big problem with connection. Now it's clear.
Okay. Let me just ask back the same question.
Mm-hmm.
So, you are appreciative of sci-fi kind of environment, and that means that you have developed great skills in designing, great skills in BIM. You also have good managing skills, because it's a great idea. It's obviously a great idea to mix graduation and competition with the same project. To give you much time to do it and to have all the time for other works, day-to-day life and everything. So, do you have any tips for students or young architects in that regard, or others too?
I can give some practical tips. Like the first is to learn English. Right now, I deeply understand it is very, very important for everyone, not just architectural student, but for every student. And I think if you have some time on holiday, just go and do some internships. Right now, I understand why it is important, because after the graduation, you will need to find a good job, so your potential boss will ask you what is your experience, what did you do on last jobs. So it doesn't matter if it is paid or not, so just go and do it. And I think if you have some money, it will be very great to find a possibility to buy some online courses of software, because it saves your time and forces your skills very fast, actually.
Yes, can you give us some advices, some site? Do you know about Balkan Architect? I don't know. If you can send us the links or some software courses that we can share with the community, would be great.
I actually said about Russian local. We have a lot of courses. It's in Russian, but so I think it's a local thing. So I think you can find something in your city or in your country as well.
Okay. It's good with the ideas. So yeah, really going from one job to another, looking for experience, is something that will really enhance your curriculum vitae and help you find a job much more faster. So then, why is it important to participate to architectural competitions?
I think it is very important, and for me, it's like it's like self-analyzed work. So it's like a format and a hard drive of my mind. It is for me. And I think you can analyze what architecture you can bring to the world, what story can you bring to the world, because there is no one who tells you what to do. So you are all alone and you are just self-analyzing. And I think you can just, you can even create something like your own methodology of creating a project. So it is very helpful for your next architectural practice. And I think and you can become more well-known if you will be lucky, and a little bit more popular, and and for me it's a very good opportunity to talk to people from all over the world, to be in the international community of architects and students, so it's very great for me as well.
Yeah. Of course, competitions, generally people go to competition to be known, to share their ideas, but if it creates a community like ours, with Jacques Rougerie, all around global community, it's a great opportunity to share with one another, to learn from one another, to be moved by each one's abilities and passion. So that's it. So I'm really appreciative for the time you gave today, at the beginning of the new year, the opportunity for us to share, and yeah, it's great, and hope that we have much more opportunity like this in the future. Good luck for the continuation of your career. Anything else?
So thank you very much for this experience. It is very interesting for me. It's something new.
Yes, it's always new for all of us. As you can see, once and not really always ready. From time to time, we need to adjust. Thanks for technology and the opportunity to be discussing from different parts of the world. That's the main thing.
Yeah, sure. You're right.
So you share us the links of the various architects, the projects, and we'll share it in the description for everyone who wants to know more about you, to go and follow you on your Instagram, Behance.
Yeah.
I'm waiting you on LinkedIn. I don't know why you are not yet in LinkedIn, but okay.
I am. Actually, I did an account on LinkedIn, so I will send it.
Okay, great. Okay, so another question: can we have access to the book you wrote for the Luna project, or is it exclusive from your school?
No, but it is in Russian, so I need to translate it. It's a very big word.
Yeah. Okay, I understand. When you will be ready, or whenever you have time, if you're able to do the translation, we'll be glad to share it wherever it's possible to share it, or if it is to be commercialized, just tell us. So once more, Happy New Year, and see you next time.
Yes, thank you. Goodbye.
Okay.
Happy New Year as well.
Thank you.